bear with me because I think there should be a public service announcement in this whole thing here. It'd take me a couple of minutes here, but I know it's comedy, but there's also there's a good nugget of truth in here too, and learn from my mistakes because, geez, I do some stupid stuff. But today I thought, oh, I struck gold, man. Like I was like, oh, this is genius. So what happened? Okay, well, it's hot today, like stinking hot out. It's like 41 degrees today, Celsius, which is 104 ish for Americans, Fahrenheit. Okay, and that's hot. I mean, for up here, that's crazy hot. It's like when you go to Vegas and you're walking down the strip, right? And all you hear is, you know what that is? That's the sound of the Crocs that the people are wearing. Yeah, they're melting on the freaking sidewalk. Yeah, and as they go along, they squeak and they melt. And good choice of footwear, eh? They're what the hell are you thinking? I'm just gonna go out for a walk around the block and your footwear melt before you get back. That's awesome, eh? But by Jesus, they were comfortable, huh? Yeah, and fashionable too. You idiot sticks everywhere, I tell you. So yeah, stinking hot like that today. And okay, so apparently when it's this hot, you run the risk of getting heat stroke and heat exhaustion. Heat exhaustion being the little one and heat stroke being the big one. Not the big one like, oh, the ticker stopped, but the big one. So heat exhaustion, because I definitely had that. Here, I wrote it on the internet from the internet, so it must be true, right? It's like when the government says so, then it's got to be true. So here are the symptoms. Heat exhaustion. We got heavy sweating. Cool and clammy skin. Rapid pulse. Yeah, it's when your ticker feels like it's busting out of your chest there, hammering away. And nausea. Yeah, and dizziness too. Strange. It's like when you're actually trying to get something done with a government office, and that's what it feels like after the first 2 hours on hold on the phone or, standing in line. Okay, now that's the baby one, heat exhaustion. Okay, I'm pretty sure I had that. And then there's heat stroke, which is the next one above that, which is even worse, because you weren't paying attention the first time because you're a dumbass. So heat stroke is delirium. Yeah, confusion. Yeah, I definitely had that. Slurred speech. I'm pretty sure it could have been the wobbly pops. Maybe. Seizure. Could have been the wobbly pops. And loss of consciousness. Yeah, it's probably the wobbly pops. But I'm going to blame heat stroke. So that's the big one. That's the one that's worse. Now, in my mind, I'm a genius, and I was like, oh, when I got to stop doing what I'm doing. So I do what I thought was a good idea at the time. I went and I queued up my cool pool, and I set it up, and I figured, I'm just going to go with water right out of the well this time because it's, oh, by Jesus, it's cold. It's about 1 to 2 degrees Celsius, so it's just above freezing. Is like 33 for Americans. So it's bloody cold, eh? And I filled that sucker to the rim, and I jumped in, and then I fell asleep, eh? It wasn't. It was a while, and the phone rings, and it kept ringing, and in my mind I'm having a great dream, and I'm like, no, but I reached over and I picked the damn thing up, and it was my friend, and if there's two things in life that you need, it's to wake up on the right side of the dirt every day, because that's pretty obvious, and a good friend that'll give you good advice, and not advice that you just sit there and you blow off like, because they got to tell you 5 or 6 times, but because they're your friends, they'll tell you anyway. And then you hope that when you do take the advice that it's not too late, eh? Because, we're stupid like that, humans. But he calls me and I'm like, hey, how's it going, buddy? And he's like, what the hell's wrong with you, man? And I'm like, oh, I'm just hanging out in the cool pool. And he's like, oh, you don't sound so good. And I'm like, oh, I feel fine. I feel great. And he's like, well, what happened? And I was like, oh, I was outside working and it was hot and I was doing stuff and my chest started, pounding away and I got sweaty and what, pink like this? No, don't worry about this. This is normal. I only have two colors, fish belly white or salmon pink. So here we are, pink. And he's like, well, by Jesus, I think you got hypothermia. And I was like, oh, well, he's a doctor, so, double whammy there, and I'm like, huh, okay. So internet here, I checked again, hypothermia. It's when your body drops down to 95 Fahrenheit, okay? Now, heat stroke, your body's at 104. So that's a pretty good drop. Or 35, 32, 35 Celsius for hypothermia for the rest of us up north here. And that's mild. So mild hypothermia is uncontrolled shivering, pale skin, and exhaustion. Go figure. And mild mental confusion. Apparently, I was exhibiting all those symptoms, and he was like, "Hey, Jesus, get your ass out of there, boy! You're gonna regret it." Okay, so I get out, and wouldn't you know it, I felt great. Like, it was hot out. I know it was hot out. Like, I know I'm supposed to oh, it's supposed to be hot, but I'm shivering and I'm feeling like, blah, blah, blah. So I go over to the corner of my my little tent here, yeah, and I got a little cot, and I lay down and I fell asleep for a good freaking hour at least, maybe more in 104 degrees, and I woke up and I felt great. I felt like I just took my vitamins and a Caesar at the same time. Like I was I was on fire. Apparently no, don't do that. That's bad. So you're not supposed to go from one extreme all the way over to the other because it he says it affects you, but really, I think I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. I'm just going to maybe limit my time in the cool pool a little bit less, use a timer. But yeah, so public service announcement there. I know it's funny and everything, but by Jesus, drink water, seek some shade, get into some shade, stay in the shade for a while, before you go and do some more work, keep your temperature down. The only other thing you really need to remember in this life is, like I said, wake up on the right side of the dirt.